raucous crowd here in Columbia. Carolina in their home whites, Jacksonville in their greens, and Stephanie, this will have a lot to do with the tempo. Jacksonville would love for this game to be in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, there's no question Jacksonville really wants to work and milk the shot clock on both ends of the floor. Starting out in this little half-court 1-2-2 defense, forcing the turnover early in the ballgame.
Tiffany Mitchell called for the walk. Brandy Bowie is the sophomore from Tampa. Khadijah Sessions hawking her out top, and the turnover. Coach gets a touch, tries to find Wilson. 2 possessions, 2 giveaways for the Gamecocks. Dolphins into their first NCAA tournament, coming off a huge upset against Florida Gulf Coast in the ASUN final. Now up against the top seed on their home court. Asia Wilson gets a block. Sessions keeps it in play, and a foul is going to be called on Kimberly Dawkins.
Right away, South Carolina coming out aggressive shows on the on-ball screens, and it's really tough to simulate the size and length that South Carolina has, and Dawkins goes into 2 of the longest defenders she's probably faced all year. And that's where Coach Yo talked to her team about, hey, we want to drive, we want to kick, we want to get open shots, but we don't want to get shots prior to under 12 seconds of the shot clock.
Yeah, they're going to be at a size disadvantage at all 5 spots on the floor. Into the paint, turnaround is no good from Wilson. Brianna Brown leaves it off for Bowie. There's Jasmine Brown. She's the freshman. Brianna, the senior. Thought about the 3, but there was still too much time on the shot clock. And now they are into their second play, and a shot is up, and a foul called, and a chance for JU to head to the line. That's the first on Sessions. The Dolphins have been around 16 years. This is their 3rd 20-win season, and a success for Coach Yo. They've won 16 of their last 19. Statistically, despite their size disadvantage, they are a very good rebounding team. In fact, 16th in the country with a +9 margin. Will they be able to maintain that against the champs of the Southeastern Conference? We will see over the next 40 minutes.
Well, they're a team that rebounds with their speed and quickness, and certainly you have to get South Carolina in rotation to be able to give yourself an opportunity to rebound with that speed and quickness.
Good ball movement by South Carolina. Wilson misses inside, second chance. And a foul. JU wanted a held ball. Instead, it will be Brandy Bowie committing her first.
And Jacksonville's a very active defensive team. They're going to scrap, they're going to claw, they're going to get hands in the passing lanes. They're going to be active and aware at all times. And if you're South Carolina, you're going to get opportunities inside. You got to finish them early. And Dawn Staley talked to her team yesterday about having a killer instinct. This is a team that needs to have a killer instinct.
Asia Wilson is the sophomore from Hopkins, South Carolina, former Prep National Player of the Year. And this season, the SEC's Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. Just the second ever. Sylvia Fowles down at LSU was the other to win both in the same season.
Coach Staley giving Asia Wilson a little bit of a hard time, saying she's not even the best defensive player on our team.
Trying to keep them humble. This is a hard-working group. They had a practice that felt more like November than March yesterday, and they were really getting after their second stringers. They are expecting an awful lot from their bench this postseason as they get a little deeper. Last touchdown out on the Dolphins, champions of the SEC for the 3rd year in a row. Just that one loss to UConn back on February 8th. And what a turnaround it's been for Dawn Staley as Sessions is fouled on the drive. Amongst other things, this crowd here at about 14,000 a night, #1 in attendance. They have turned Columbia basketball crazy for the Gamecocks. Khadijah Sessions at the line. Of course, when you're one of the best point guards to ever play the game, there is a lot of attention on your own guard play. And Stephanie, when they talk about guards winning championships in this NCAA tournament, a lot will be placed on Sessions, on Bianca Cuevas coming in behind her off the bench, manning that point guard spot.
Well, and Sessions really does a good job of understanding what Dawn Staley wants out of the offense, understanding how to dictate tempo with the defense. Very vocal leader, and Cuevas is coming in off of her best stretch probably of the season in the SEC tournament, where she averaged double figures. Her assists were up, her turnovers were down.
Phillip Brown short, and here's Sessions with a breakout. 3-on-3, Sessions head up. No look pass, Wilson with the catch, and the foul will be called on the floor. Good deception there by Sessions.
Well, and if you're Jacksonville, you can't afford to allow South Carolina to get going in transition. And you called it the good look off, and Asia Wilson goes up to get it. Would rather have the 2 than the foul.
That's already the 4th team foul, so they'll be shooting 2 on the next foul here the rest of the first quarter. Inbound to Coates. Hard off the back iron. Brown able to tip it to Kimberly Dawkins. See if they can get more from Reddick, number 22 in green. She's been their leading scorer the last 3 years. She's got it right here. On the drive, runs right towards Wilson and draws the foul. It's not going to be on Wilson, though. I believe it'll be the trip on the way to the bucket. And that's the first on Coates. Reddick, the junior out of Jacksonville, a streaky shooter. Their best three-point shooter as well, and probably will become the school's all-time leading scorer next year. Step back, Kristen Mercer. South Carolina ball.
Jacksonville's really looking to spread South Carolina out and attack, but they're not getting anything off of the on-ball screen because of the way Coates is showing and showing hard. She's taking them out of that rhythm. Spread them out, look to attack one-on-one. Now see if you can force rotation to get easy jump shots.
Teams have started out a combined 0 for 7 from the floor. Make it 0 for 8. A junior out of Douglasville, Georgia, the newcomer of the year, transferring in from Florida. So she's got some SEC experience. Here she is. Got Wilson off the ground. JU now 0 for 5 to start. Mitchell in transition, weaving her way to the rim, and there's the first field goal.
In transition, nobody's back to stop you. You don't see two shoulders in front. Continue to attack the rim.
And they forced another turnover.
And South Carolina can get on you in a hurry if they can get the ball out in transition. Terrific rebound. You know, defensively, they're going to be able to get that board, and Mitchell does a great job. Terrific decision, attacking and scoring in the paint. And Coach O told us, look, we're not going to send 2 back initially or 3 back initially, but if they start hurting us in transition, we're going to have to get back and make sure we protect the glass first. I don't think they'll be getting many offensive rebounds.
No, so at some point you just say, hey, you know what? We'll take our chances on the initial shot. Sessions, they're going to sag off of her and let her shoot from outside, play everybody else 5-on-4. I believe that's going to be South Carolina ball when we come back. They're up 5-2 here midway through the first. Well, thank you very much, Kevin. St. Bonnie's, boy, could they continue a pretty good day for the state of New York, with Syracuse and Albany both advancing up in the Carrier Dome. 7 teams from the Empire State. That ties the NCAA record for most teams from a state.
You're not biased or anything?
Oh, popping my chest a little bit today. Beth Mullins along with Stephanie White here at Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. It has not been a stellar night so far for the offenses. Let's see if South Carolina can change that. Wilson inside and one. A fortuitous roll ends up with Asia.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky. Sessions loses control of the basketball. Jacksonville not able to corral it, and Asia Wilson gets the opportunity for the N1. And you see Dawn Staley coming with a couple of subs off the bench, looking to change the energy of this ball game early.
Bianca Cuevas, Tina Roy. That, by the way, was also the 5th team foul, so free throws the rest of the way for South Carolina. Wilson looked a little perplexed that she missed that one. Offensive foul called on Jacksonville as Cuevas takes the charge. Well, Dawn Staley talks about how she likes Bianca's energy. She needs her to be more of a leader and get everybody else to get on the same page when she's out there running the offense. That's going to be her challenge tonight.
I think she's constantly talking to Cuevas about change of pace, change of speed. It can't be all one speed. You have to be able to probe and see what they can best get for her teammates.
Wilson, second chance, gets it to go. It's a 9-0 run after Jacksonville took the early 2-0 lead. Dolphins still without a basket. They're 0 for 6. And another takeaway. That's the 5th. This is a South Carolina team that has pretty much seen it all. That loss to UConn, but then played one of the best schedules in the country. That'll be for 2, and it's an 11-0 run. Cuevas knocking it down. And there's the first basket in Jacksonville's NCAA tournament history, and it's Sharonda Reddick. And their first trip as champs of the Atlantic Sun. Good post inside by Wilson. And free throws coming. Well, first round coverage of the Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues tonight on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Wilson at the free throw line, talking a little bit about that schedule. Included, well, in the non-conference, Ohio State, a team that they could possibly face in Sioux Falls. They're on their side of the bracket. We've seen the Pac-12 with wins over UCLA and Arizona State, and then the gauntlet that was the SEC this year with 9 teams in the tournament field. And they beat them all, went 16-0. And won both the regular season and the tournament titles.
And I felt like South Carolina really took their game to another level in the SEC tournament. On the offensive end of the floor, starting to be in a flow and a rhythm, playing inside out, and getting production from those bench players that Dawn Staley talked about.
Cuevas with a strip. Got Roy off on the wing, the three-point sharpshooter. In and out. Sarah Movio with the weak side rebound. Grad student transfer from Virginia. Cuevas, deep 3. Emboldened a bit by making the 2 a little bit earlier. Cuevas is just a 25% shooter from out there.
Well, she was 5 of 10 from the 3 in the SEC tournament, so she's certainly coming in with a confidence level in that jump shot.
Mercer off the mark. Roy's got it. Look at Wilson getting out on the run. Asia Wilson stripped on the way up and then wraps it around the other side and a shrug of the shoulders as she heads back down court.
Dawn Staley better watch out for too long. Asia Wilson's going to want to be point forward. Giving her the ball at half court, letting her go to work.
After a shaky offensive start, the Gamecocks now settling down a bit. On the defensive end, they have allowed just the one field goal through the first 9 minutes of the game. Off the bounce, off the glass, no good from Kayla Gordon. And then a foul on the rebound will send Amovio to the free throw line.
You see the outlet, Roy hitting Wilson in half court, taking it in there, doesn't get the first one, but stays with it, able to get the second one. She says, okay, we'll take it however we get it. It's all good. We're seeing the ball go through the net.
Oh, what a year it has been for her. Asia Wilson, the SEC Player of the Year, as just a sophomore, as Amovio gets to the line. The lefty's first one, no good. Coates will come on to replace Wilson. Boy, they're just 3 of 9 now at the free throw line. .40 seconds to go in this first quarter. Cuevas gets another strip and then taken right back by Brandy Bowie. Underneath, and Kayla Gordon gets the bucket. Sophomore out of Meridian, Mississippi. Mitchell for 3.
It looked to me like on that pin down, Coates had an opportunity to seal down low. I think you got to take advantage of that size, and you got to seal, and you got to continue to give the bigs the ball and force Jacksonville to make a change on defense. But right now, South Carolina moving the ball, taking a lot of jump shots.
Just 2 seconds to go in the quarter. Roy will get it up in time, and it's good for 2. Tina Roy drills it, 15-6. South Carolina leading Jacksonville through 1. Here in Columbia, Mitchell on the move, and then Wilson off the deck, up and in. The top seed in Sioux Falls out to the early lead as Tina Roy buries the deuce.
Program is called?
Whose?
3 for 7. Everybody else 3 for 8 for South Carolina.
They've also been hitting the glass, 5 offensive rebounds, getting them 7 second chance points. Now a lineup for South Carolina that has both Cuevas and Sessions on the floor together. The kick out. And the triple is good for Brandy Bowie as more history is made. The first 3 in Dolphins NCAA tournament postseason play. It is their first trip after a stunning upset of Florida Gulf Coast and the Atlantic Sun. And Coach Yo doing a terrific job as the Dolphins had to hit the road to get it done. It's already been a bit of an emotional night for her from the Bahamas. She was watching Jonquel Jones earlier tonight, the Bahamian national player whose collegiate career came to an end with GW.
Has a rich history with Jonquel Jones. Coach Yo's father, Moon, was the coach for Jonquel Jones growing up in the Bahamas, has a program called Hoyts, helping our youth through education and sport, and trained her along with Buddy Hield when they were young.
Yeah, they're doing some great things down in the Bahamas, and there's Jonquel sticking around to watch the first quarter of Coach Yo, and then hugs and tough moments at the end of a fantastic season and a career for her. Dolphins looking for some space, and now flexing their muscles a little bit as the confidence grows. That's Jasmine Brown, the freshman out of Haines City.
One of the things that Coach Yo talked to us about is, she said, I don't lie to my team. Look, we talk about South Carolina's a better team than us. We have to give ourselves a chance. We can't get caught up in the moment. We can't get caught up in the crowd. We have to play our game and just give ourselves an opportunity.
Coach scores 19-11. They've talked about making sure they're moving without the ball, with the ball, getting the shot clock down deep. How about that? First, it was Bowie, and now it's Brianna Brown for 3, and they are on their feet in the Jacksonville cheering section. Gonna get a foul off the ball here on the Dolphins. We're here in Columbia watching the South Carolina women in the NCAA tournament. You can catch the South Carolina men second round NIT action against Georgia Tech here on Monday night at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Don't forget to visit NCAA.com. It's the home for all 90 NCAA championships. As Dawn Staley and her coaching staff looks on. Dawn getting the team to the Final Four for the first time in school history last year. That gut-wrenching 1-point loss to Notre Dame. She played in 3 Final Fours herself, played in a final, and came up short of a national championship.
I was there. I watched Dawn Staley play in that Final Four.
Those were some phenomenal Virginia teams she and Tammy Reese were a part of. Of course, Tammy now an assistant at Syracuse. They got a win today. They too are one victory away from heading to Sioux Falls. Dribble penetration, the kick out, baseline, mid-range, no. Look at the scrap for the offensive rebound. Kimberly Dawkins will put it back up. And a foul on the glass will go against Gordon. That's going to be her second. Well, Coach Yo is a bundle of energy and positivity at practice yesterday. Terrific demeanor with her players.
She talked about how she wants her players to have fun. She wants her players to enjoy the moment. You only get a first once.
Coach, look at how deep Elena was able to get. And she'll head to the line. That will be the 3rd foul now on Kimberly Dawkins. They only have 8 players suited up. They are without Lolia Briggs and Kiana Williams. They are both unavailable due to injuries. Coach is the junior from Irmo, South Carolina. 56% from the line. Gets that one to go. suited up with the jersey on and the sneakers laced over there for JU. Coates has a triple-double on her resume this year, the first at South Carolina in 10 years. Got that against Winthrop earlier this season. 29 points, 16 boards, 10 blocked shots. Well, they'll go a little man. Let's see if Jacksonville can take advantage. They like their chances better against the man than the zone. Get it to fall. Coates again with a couple of feet in the paint. Second chance, got it.
Anytime you get such deep position, I think in this, Dawn Staley talks about it all the time, play inside out. You have to get the ball directly into the post and let them go to work.
And the walk will turn it back over, and it's a danger zone now for Jacksonville. As South Carolina extends the lead out to 8, and with the basketball. Winner of this one will face K-State. Terrific defensive performance in the second half, holding GW to just 5 field goals to come back to win it. The pull-up, Brown. Sessions able to tip it to herself. And her pass gets picked off. Trying to feed Mitchell, running the back door. Mitchell flies by. Reddick launches inside, and a spin and a foul.
Well, one of the things that you're not going to see from Jacksonville, you're not going to see them quit. This is a team that's going to continue to play hard, continue to scrap, and giving themselves extra opportunities is one way that they can do that. Continuing to crash the offensive glass. We talked about them rebounding out of their area. They're small, but they're active.
Mercer, the junior from Douglasville, Georgia, gets the first one to go. She was the best shooter in the Atlantic Sun this year. Really came on strong in the second half of the season for them. Wilson checks back in for Carolina. Able to get a pair of those. South Carolina looking at that 3-2 zone. Tina Roy will try and shoot over it. One and done. And then Strip Sessions took it right away from Mercer. The easy bucket. Over Wilson. Shot won't go for Mercer. Jacksonville just 5 for 20 now. Jatari White had it, lost it, kept it alive. Wilson, strong on the drive. I believe they're going to call a held ball right there. Strong D for the Dolphins, 24-16. South Carolina on top, under 5 to go here in the first. En route to a 3rd straight SEC regular season title, and they followed that up with a 2nd straight tournament crown. Right now, though, they are being outscored in this second quarter by JU 10-9. Dolphins hanging around. Mitchell nearly had the steal, and now Sessions will get it. It's their 6th of the game. Mitchell fills the lane. Gamecocks now with their biggest lead of the night.
Well, Khadijah Sessions has set the tone on the defensive end of the floor. She has been active, creating turnovers, getting steals, and that's how South Carolina's been able to get a little bit of transition going.
She's got 4 of her own takeaways. A couple of spin moves in the bucket for Kristen Mercer.
Well, Mercer's the one that's really had a little bit of SEC experience coming from Florida. And Coach Yo said I talked to her about using that experience and being able to go to battle.
Oh, they lob it back door. A couple of nice screens in the paint for Wilson. And the assist, Dozier. Asia now with 9.
I like that play. Next time, throw it at the rim. Let her go get it.
Needs to get airborne on that. Almost all the way down and coming back out from Reddick. Coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report, we'll check in on the other first round action from around the country. Plenty of highlights from games earlier today, including that stunning upset, the lone upset of the first day of action, the 12 seed Albany over the 5 seed Florida up in Syracuse. Deep three, Brianna Brown. That's her second triple. It has been a day for the heavyweights so far. The Power 5 conferences have gone 11-1 in their games. That Albany win over Florida, their lone defeat. Sessions will pass up the 3. Mitchell, the better shooter from out there. Offensive rebound and an offensive foul.
Asia Wilson going after that offensive board and lowers the shoulder a little bit. Great take by Jasmine Brown. It's interesting to watch that play, though, because Dawn Staley talking about when Asia Wilson came in as a freshman, she didn't like contact. She wanted everything to be perfect. She didn't want anybody disrupting her path, her rhythm, and now she's grown into a physical ball player.
Coach and Sessions out on the perimeter. Wilson inside to Elena, easy bucket. Yeah, what did Dawn tell us yesterday? Wilson's got a great head on her shoulders. They'd like to get a little nasty in her. She's got a couple more years to develop some of that. Good hustle inside. Sessions is the last to touch it. Scramble for the loose ball here. Who's the last one with it? Looked like it was Sessions who rolled it off. With the hand of Brown and out. And on the inbounds, another steal. 8 of them now in the first half. Another opportunity to hammer it right into the paint. Asia Wilson now with 11.
There's just no answer for Wilson and Coates inside. Jacksonville's going to have to sit one on top. They're going to have to do the sandwich like the K-State sandwich inside on Jones.
Off the ball fake, Brianna Brown short. Carolina with numbers. Mitchell to Wilson. No basket, offensive foul. Tiffany Mitchell got too deep. That's her second.
Tiffany Mitchell in transition, gives it up, but isn't under control. Runs right over the defender. Modi, great job of maintaining her position and taking that charge. You're not buying it?
I think that's one you probably kind of let go because Mitchell and the defender were both drifting out of the play. But
or it's one where you're under control when you make the pass, one of the two.
You're the coach. I'm going to defer because you know a lot more than the officials.
Oh, yes. Don't know coaches, right?
And in that moment, you agreed with him. Dawn Staley will call the timeout here. 1:02 to go. Chorus of boos for the men in. Final minute. First half here in Columbia. Wilson will try, 15-footer.
If you're Jacksonville, that's the shot you want her taking. And if you're South Carolina and you're Asia Wilson, you want her shooting that as well, because that's a confidence booster for her. She's got that range. Now, if you come out on her, she can go right around you.
Mitchell in there to scrap the ball loose, and then a foul is going to be called on Reddick. That will be her third. And is that just the fourth team foul of the quarter? Foul starting to mount now for the Dolphins. Gillamo D out there on the floor for Jacksonville. Shot clock is off. Sessions, Mitchell for three. Good box out for the Dolphins. And a timeout called by Jacksonville with 2.5 seconds to go.
He said he felt like they were ahead of schedule last year.
They put another second on the clock for Jacksonville. The heave from half court, good if it goes. 20 minutes in the books. 30 really limit South Carolina's opportunities. Gamecocks countered that by creating a lot of turnovers, getting a ton of steals and runouts.
Well, it's a team in Jacksonville that's used to pushing tempo, and Coach Joe wanted them to shoot inside of 12 seconds, but 14 seconds is pretty good for a team that's used to letting it fly early.
Tip pass, turnover. Mitchell on the breakout. And she walks with it. It's been a bit of a struggle tonight for Tiffany Mitchell. Really, the guards have not shot it well. 6 for 16. Mitchell 2 for 7 now with 3 turnovers. With a two-time SEC Player of the Year who had been coming on strong the last couple of weeks of the season and into the SEC tournament where she was the MVP. Deep three early in the shot clock.
South Carolina changes to the 1-2-2, three-quarter court press, and it lulls you into thinking you can get those easy shots because you're open.
Coach could knock down a couple inside.
You see a lot of teams get impatient against the zone.
Yep.
Want to settle for the first open shot that they get instead of forcing the zone to rotate and shift.
That's when you can really start breaking them down with those reversals and skips. And of course, as we mentioned too, it can be difficult for Jacksonville to see through and over the zone. They're smaller at every position. And they're going to run into a shot clock violation right here. Wilson with the catch. They'll skip it over to Mitchell. Back into Wilson. Double teamed. Coates slashes to the bucket and draws the foul.
Those two just play off of one another so well. And we've seen it in some of the tape that we've run throughout a lot of these shows, that they talk about how they've learned to play with one another. They've learned to read one another and understand what each other is going to do. And that was a great low to high. We're used to seeing them high to low.
That's the fourth foul now, by the way, on Kimberly Dawkins. She's going to have to come out. And this front line has become such a handful with Coach, the junior, Wilson, the sophomore. Asia Dozier running with him, the senior from right here in Columbia. Biggest lead of the night now for South Carolina. Coates has 9. Drive to the rim, no good by Mercer. Coates with the post up. Buries the defender, Elena Coates.
Again, if you're playing behind Landon Coates and there's nobody in front to deter that pass, you don't have extreme pressure on the ball to make it more difficult. It's a nightmare. You got no chance. Coates shoots at 63% from the floor. The only reason she's not leading the nation in field goal percentage is because she doesn't get enough attempts.
Yep. There she is with the rebound of the miss. Tipped out of bounds by Jasmine Brown. Coates just a junior. She's already top 5 in her career here at South Carolina in both rebounding and blocks. Led the SEC in rebounds this year. Sessions for 3, short. Trying to find a balance outside tonight. Good ball fake to get Coates to blow by. Brianna Brown, the senior from Haines City, Florida. Mom Angel and Dad Eric, proud of both Brown sisters playing in the game tonight for JU. Mitchell for 2.
And both Brown sisters were originally recruited to college to play softball.
Yeah.
And then chose to play basketball at JU.
It's been a good find for the Dolphin basketball team. Got Mitchell leaning on the perimeter. Corralled by Wilson. Looking to extend the lead. Coates fouled inside. We'll catch the South Carolina men's basketball team in an NIT matchup on Monday night. They'll be playing right here against Georgia Tech. Game will come your way at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Visit NCAA.com. It's the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Dawn Staley coaching him up over there on the bench. Three-time Olympic gold medalist, 5 times a WNBA All-Star. Mitchell bumped on the inbound. That'll be the second on Jasmine Brown. Despite the fact they have just the 1 loss this year and were the champs of the SEC, you get the sense from their practice and what they've been saying publicly in the press, they are playing with a chip on their shoulder and a little bit of anger in their game. They think they are being overlooked a little bit.
I think that when you think about that, coaches are always looking for a little bit of motivation.
Little edge.
Dawn Staley's always played with a little bit of chip on her shoulder, now coaching with a little bit of chip on her shoulder and using everything from what we talk about to what's in the papers and trying to get her team motivated.
They thought they were the overall number 2 seed and should have been going to Lexington. Instead, it appears that Notre Dame grabbed the overall number 2, and that's why they're up with Robert Morris. 11 a.m. in stores. They got their own window. That's the only game on at 11 tomorrow.
Have some brunch and then go on over and watch the game, or have some brunch and then tune in.
Of course, with the huge stories that the country has been following, there's also those other stories. And a great moment for Sal Biscaglia and his son Charlie, the head coach and the assistant coach at Robert Morris. Sal's retiring at the end of the season after 38 years. And they are back in the NCAA tournament. And a chance to knock off the big dogs tomorrow morning. South Carolina threatening to run away with this one. Whistling a foul in transition. I think they're going to call it on the Jacksonville player, but it certainly looked like Sessions got the arm extended here. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah, they called that on Reddick, the Jacksonville player.
She initiated and extended.
Break there for Carolina. They've opened it up to a 20-point lead. They have held Jacksonville to just 2 points here in this third quarter.
And we've seen Tiffany Mitchell get a little bit more active on the offensive end here in the third as well. 7 points in the third quarter.
She's now 4 of 9 in the ball game. Wilson splits the double team and got caught up in the triple that came over to help. Reddick wrapped the ball all the way around her midsection and came out the other side for 2. Mitchell off the mark. Oh, we heard the ladies at halftime with Kevin talking about some offensive struggles here for South Carolina. It would appear that they will be able to get through today's matchup, but against Kansas State tomorrow, or in 2 days' time, that could be a little trouble.
And certainly when you think about Kansas State and the way that they change up their defenses, and you're not going to be able to adjust every time and run a different play for a different type of zone. You have to have some sort of a rhythm. And South Carolina getting away from the strength of the first quarter, first half, and that's getting the ball in the interior, getting the ball in the paint and scoring it early.
Jacksonville continuing to run their stuff. They'll work that shot clock down again. It'll get to under 10. Brown, good change of direction. Can't get the bounce. Good scrap inside for Gordon. Just couldn't keep that one on the floor. 43-28. Carolina in control. Sarah Movio on the front line. Bianca Cuevas is back at point, along with Mitchell, Coates, and Dozier. They have held Jacksonville to just 10 baskets, but they have not been able to seal the deal as of yet. Dolphins been playing pretty disciplined. Foul on the jump shooter. That's on Mitchell. Well, after South Carolina went up by 20, Jacksonville here on a 7-0 run to creep back into it. Final 3 minutes of this third quarter. Winner will face Kansas State on Sunday in the second round. Coates splits the defenders. They're going to give her the bucket? Yes, they will.
You got to seal up that double team. If you're coming from the backside, you can't allow Coates to split it. She gets in there for 2.
Coates with 1 shot coming. Elena, 13 points, 5 rebounds. They have dominated in the interior. Over 30 points in the paint of their 45. Counter that with a cool shooting night from their guards thus far.
We had 24 of those in the first half, though, so in the second half, Jacksonville doing a better job of making them shoot outside shots. And that's where that discipline to the game plan mentality has to be. But you see Jacksonville continuing to change their defenses, playing a little bit more zone, trying to pack it in a little.
Mitchell, triple from the corner. 14 now for Tiffany. Bumps it back up to a 19-point lead. The pick, the roll, and Coates coming over to deny it. Coates again getting down low. A little emotion from her after that bucket.
And there you go. Get back to the strengths right there. Get it inside. Coates going to work.
Their biggest lead of the night now. So after Jacksonville threatened, the counterpunch here from South Carolina. And will this be the haymaker with 1:33 to go in the third? Jacksonville has 30 points on the board total. South Carolina has scored 30 in the paint of their 51 total. Has just not been an answer down low.
A lot of teams are facing that obstacle when you face South Carolina, let alone a team that's so small in Jacksonville, but certainly the scrappy nature of their defensive energy and intensity. And again, Coach Yo talking about, look, I want people to come away from this game saying that we had a team that plays hard, a team that was disciplined, a team that left it all on the floor, and I want our players to enjoy this moment. Not only are you playing in your first NCAA tournament, you're playing in an arena that averages almost, 10, 12,000 fans a ball game. Could be a sellout at some point. So enjoy and embrace that moment.
A little bit of an ankle-breaking move out on the perimeter, but they can't get the shot inside. Amovio fouled on the nice pass from Mitchell. Oh, it's a Jacksonville team that they're going to have everybody back except for Brianna Brown. They have improved this year over last. They set a new standard by getting to the NCAA tournament. You're probably going to be building a nice little rivalry with Florida Gulf Coast here in the Atlantic Sun after knocking them out in the tournament final.
And again, you mentioned them going on the road and beating Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast had not lost a home game in 7 years. 7 years, and they go on the road and they win that ball game. So this is a program on the rise. These are players who lay it on the line.
She has tried to model what she's doing to what Dawn Staley has done here at South Carolina. Cuevas going for the steal, and the foul will be called on Brandy Bowie. And in fact, they've developed a relationship. They stay in touch with one another. And after the A-Sun tournament, Dawn Staley, huge congrats to this young and getting it done head coach, Coach Yo, for winning the conference chip and going dancing. Proud of you. Sharing that sentiment. They had a nice moment pregame, the two of them on the handshake. And
they may share the same scowl, too.
Yeah. Always coaching them up over there. And it doesn't look like either one of them is satisfied with whatever the call was. Dozier short on the shot. That was Asia's first shot attempt of the night. They can pretty much hold for one if they want. Stripped by South Carolina, and they'll get it with 15 seconds to go. Cuevas, they're sagging way off for Cuevas with the drive. The floater is good to beat the buzzer. They left her the deep ball and she didn't want it. She wanted to get to the rim. Nice crossover into the paint, floats it up to beat the buzzer. And the biggest lead of the night for the Gamecocks as we get set for the fourth.
It seems like it should be the end of the game.
Owns the top three in that category. Brianna Stewart, of course, the three-time most outstanding player at the Final Four. She and her fellow seniors, Mo Jefferson and Morgan Tuck, going for an unprecedented fourth straight championship for the same senior class. Tina Roy with the miss. Selena Coates with the offensive rebound and the stick pack, and a microcosm of what we've seen throughout the night here in Columbia. Dominance on the glass and strong frontline play from South Carolina. Able to turn the ball over and take it the other way as Sessions will head to the line.
The 20th turnover that South Carolina's forced. Really, it started with Sessions early in the ball game. Has done an outstanding job of hawking the ball, of creating opportunities for her teammates to get steals and get in transition.
13 steals now. That's the fourth for Sessions. The three-year starter, the senior from Myrtle Beach, enjoying the best shooting season of her career. Dawn Staley has talked about the importance of the energy that she provides at both ends of the floor for this South Carolina unit. She and Cuevas now out there together on the perimeter.
And yesterday in practice, you could see how vocal she was, her leadership skills. You know, they were struggling a little bit in practice. Dawn Staley pushing them. And Sessions was the one that brought everybody together. She was the one that was that coach on the floor.
Sessions may have jammed a finger. She just ran over to talk to the trainer. They're trying to pop it back in place. And now she's good to go. And the leadership to look to the officials and say, hold on a second, I'll be right back.
I gotta pop my finger back in socket.
That was impressive. So was that for Jacksonville. Brianna Brown on the inbound to score for two. She's got 13 to lead the way. And what could be her final game at Jacksonville, the lone senior. Coates gets inside, second chance is good. Taking a lot of contact in there as well.
And it's tough. Well, I would imagine it's tough. I wouldn't know this. But as a big, when you've got smaller players below you and you don't really know where they are when you're trying to shoot the ball, and not only did she maintain good body control, but she was able to get the offensive rebound. I know you don't know what that's like.
I do not, as Brown comes off the screen and hits again. I was one of those little people hoping that the tall timbers weren't going to fall right on top of me. That's why it's always better to, as Dawn Staley was telling us in her pickup games that she still plays, it's better to just hang out on the perimeter, just run three-point line to three-point line.
Be a passer, run three-point line to three-point line.
Speaking of being a passer, Sessions finds Wilson. Free throw is coming up. It's going to be the fourth foul on Gordon. Asia Wilson to the line. She was out here taking extra free throws at halftime because she was just 1 for 5 from the stripe in that first half. The lone blemish on the resume, that loss to Connecticut. We've been eyeing a rematch with UConn. Of course, the Huskies have been wiping folks out. Their margin of victory close to 40 points per game, all of them double digits.
But the question for South Carolina has been, can you score with Connecticut?
Yep.
And I think they have shown flashes of that, certainly did in the SEC tournament, show flashes of being able to score from all 5 positions, having that balance inside out. It's the consistency aspect of that. Can you continue to do that? And then on a night when you're playing a team that's so dominant on both ends of the floor, you have to match them bucket for bucket.
Shot is off the mark from Brandy Bowie. That's been impressive when you look at all the numbers and all the talent up there. A player like Brianna Stewart, who could have put it into cruise control. You know, our research department coming up with the fact that Brianna this year has set new career highs in rebounding, blocks, assists, field goal percentage, three-point shooting. She has continued to improve in those statistical categories in her final season in Stores. Has not settled.
Yep.
And those 3 seniors, along with Jefferson and Morgan Tuck, have really embraced the challenge of trying to win a 4th in a row. .6:45 to go, and South Carolina now starting to pull away from the Dolphins. 20 points for Coates, Mitchell with 14, Wilson with a double-double, 13 and 11. They have held Jacksonville to just 29% shooting. Big stuff there for Wilson. And they now certainly appear to be heading for a second-round date with Kansas State. Sessions, wide open again. Those are the kinds of shots we talk about, that as you get Sweet 16-ish, Elite 8-ish, Final Four-ish, you're going to be left open to try and knock those down by opponents.
And when teams are blatantly leaving you open,
Yep.
you know, you think about it a little bit more. If Sessions is catching that in rhythm and shooting it in rhythm without thinking about it, it could be a different story. But as Coach Yo talked about, we want to play the percentages.
Yep.
And we got to force Sessions and Cuevas to hit jump shots.
Sessions still appears to be hurting a little bit despite that layup from whatever it was that happened to her finger earlier in this 4th quarter. The kick out, Brown for 3. And a foul on the long rebound. Well, tonight after the NCAA Wrestling Championship, stick around for Sports Center at Night with Nicole and Stan. They'll have all the highlights from around the country, men's and women's tournament at Sports Center at Night, coming out after wrestling here on ESPN. Not a whole lot of upsets on this opening day, just the one of note thus far, Albany over Florida, although tonight St. Bonaventure had been working on another one. Coates, offensive rebound, the put back up and in. St. Bonaventure late in the 4th with an 11-point lead now over Oklahoma State. Could be 2 big upsets for upstate New York.
Are you still puffing your chest?
Nope, nope. How we expect it now. Act like you've been there before.
That's
Come
right.
on, Stephanie.
Yep, that's all right.
Oh, what a play by Coates! Switching it over to the left hand for the layup. .428 to go, and a nice exclamation point for the Gamecocks.
The NCAA
winning their 10th in a row and improving to 32-1 on the year. On the shot clock, Brown. Deep three, Amovio snags the board. .343 to play here, Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. South Carolina pulling away in the second half against Jacksonville. Danye Kleining with the bucket. They have dominated inside. Double doubles for both Elena Coates and Asia Wilson. Tiffany Mitchell has chimed in with 14 points, a couple of threes. As anticipated, they've been solid on the boards. They've turned over Jacksonville quite a bit, and there's a strong drive to the bucket for Kristen Mercer. First personal on Amovio. For the SEC, take a look around day one action. Florida lost early in a rough start for the conference, but they've bounced back nicely. Wins for Mississippi State and Tennessee, and now it appears South Carolina will join them. 9 teams into the field. That ties the conference record. Jatari White, no good. Auburn picked up a win also tonight over St. John's. Congratulations to St. Bonaventure, the second upset of the day as they beat Oklahoma State. Amovio's got it. Cuevas tried to pull up with it and lost the handle. Sophomore out of the Bronx. Dawn Staley told us yesterday she's been putting in more time on her own in the gym.
Dawn Staley, funny with that comment is Roy. She needed to hit one of those, get that confidence back, see the ball go through the net. But Dawn Staley was funny talking about Cuevas getting into the gym. She's like, you know, it's funny when you get in the gym and you spend some time with the ball and you get familiar of it, the game is good to you.
It gives back.
It gives back.
Let's take a look at tonight's Capital One Cup impact performance. It's Elena Coates, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals tonight. Really established both she and Wilson down on the low block, and for Coates her 18th double-double of the season. She was terrific in the postseason for them last year as well, the regional most outstanding player to get them to the Final Four. India Farmer has now come into the lineup. Another terrific crowd here in Columbia, the national leader in attendance. A lot of them will be back here, if not more, on Sunday for their second round game against Kansas State. If they win that one, it's off to Sioux Falls for the regional. Final minute. And a foul on the drive. Free throws coming up for Jacksonville. Let's take a look at the drive for Brown.
Ooh, that looked like all ball.
Didn't think she got a little elbow there? Just
maybe
leather?
just a
just
hair.
Leather?
Maybe a hair. And you see Eli's getting passed around. Everybody's giving Eli some love. They're making fun of Dawn Staley's hair.
Fun of Dawn's haircut. I think they're having a good time over there with Eli and their head coach. Eli's getting a little court time. Nice moment right here as Brown checks out, the senior. What a terrific year that Jacksonville had. She'll have this moment with her the rest of her life, the first trip for the Jacksonville Dolphins to the NCAA tournament. And she gets to share it with her younger sister, Jasmine.
And what an instrumental part she's been, a second-team All-Sun performer. Came into the game 4th in career points in Jacksonville history.
Certainly a lot to be proud of, has elevated the standard. Top 5 all time in scoring and rebounding. Kimberly Dawkins departs as well, the junior from Atlanta. She'll be back next year. They had a good turnout here tonight as well. They wanted to compete. They held their own for 3 quarters against the top seed in the Sioux Falls region. And now South Carolina will win and advance into the second round with Kansas State. As we close out the opening day of this year's tournament, UConn will be in action tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, the likes of Maryland and Notre Dame. Tomorrow night, Texas and Stanford. South Carolina, a winner over Jacksonville, 77-41. The mentor and the mentee. And a nice post-game moment for Coach Yo and Dawn Staley. The Gamecocks win it. They get done.